For our final episode, I'm once again joined by the lovely ladies from Sure Start Strabane, Sharron Callaghan and Ruth Huey. I think we've got to know you very well over the last while. Thanks so much again for returning for our last episode. So the world of toddlers is definitely going to be an interesting episode. It's certainly a shock to the system. The little babies don't be sitting there anymore. They'll be up moving and telling you what to do. So obviously, Sharron, we'll start with you. It's called the Terrible Twos.
Yes.
But is that fair?
It's often referred to as the Terrible Twos, Bridgeen, you're right.
Yeah.
But we prefer to look at it as a time of exploration and curiosity.
I said reckon, isn't that right? I said, was it talking, walking and reckon? But you corrected me. You both corrected me. I said, no, Bridgeen, it's exploring.
Yes. So they're really just trying to gain their own independence and develop their own personality.
Yes.
And yes, there can be tantrums and there can be challenging moments, but there's a lot of help again out there.
Yes.
And it will pass like everything else. And it really is just a stage of their development that they must go through, really.
Oh, and it's a good thing they are going through that because they're developing. And after each sort of, I think we call them leaps, isn't it now? You come through it, a leap, and you see so many new skills that the child can do. So in terms of programs that you've on offer for this stage, there's a very important program that you run yourselves.
That's right. And it is one of our most popular programs, and the applications will be going out shortly. So that's for our developmental program for 2 to 3 year olds. So we have 7 groups in total, a few in the town, and then we've some in our outreach areas as well in Dunnamana and Plumbridge. So as I said in one of our other episodes, we're delighted that they're coming back now face to face on Monday. And we've been working really hard since last March, making sure our buildings are all COVID secure. We've loads of health and safety measures in place, so everything is ready to go. So
yes, that's fantastic.
There's no problems worrying about safety, But the developmental program is fully funded by the Department of Education, and it's really for children in their preschool year. So it's based on a play curriculum, and it focuses on children's physical, social, emotional and cognitive development, but all in an atmosphere where learning is fun.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of outdoor play, and again, parental participation is a key part of it, and we invite parents in. In normal times we have stay-in plays where they come in once a month. At the minute that will still just be offered over Zoom, and it's all about extending their learning to home again. So as I say, it's really, really popular. We have 80 children in total who attend.
That's some number, and I know that you get applications and it's oversubscribed. It's very difficult, it's hard because there's so many people want to avail of this fantastic opportunity. But obviously, you do your best. That's all you can do, and get as many children in.
We do. We always have twice as many applications as we have places, unfortunately. But what we would say to the other people is, just keep going to our other services or stay in plays. There's plenty out there. There's plenty of parenting programs. There are other things. The creche hopefully will be reopening soon. So there's loads of opportunities as well. I suppose it's testament to how good the program itself is.
It definitely, because I know parents would say that it's a great way of children getting used to sort of like then being ready for nursery, really.
That's right.
And it's great at that wee stage too. They want to do more, and maybe they're ready for a wee bit more. They're ready for something beyond the house. And kind of learning. So that's fantastic. And as you say, it just develops their social, emotional, cognitive, all of that, which is fantastic. Obviously you have a huge team as part of this.
We do.
So if you'd like to tell me a bit about the team who do this.
Well, it's mostly overseen by the early years team. So we have a coordinator, and then each group would have an early years leader, and then there's 2 assistants. But, the whole team feeds into it. So, like, for example, the speech and language team would help. They'll come along and do welcome screening for speech and language for the children, and those reports are passed on then to nursery. The family support team will link in and provide things like toddler yoga, or just if a parent's struggling with a certain issue in particular, well, then they can signpost them to the family support worker, and they maybe will pick that up with the parent themselves then, either on a home visit or over Zoom if it has to be. So everybody works really well together.
Yes.
It's really well joined up.
It's a great system, and it gets a child into the system going forward, and that links in with, as you just said, nursery and school, which is brilliant. And also, just in terms of that, for people that are listening, the applications, keep an eye on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Because you have to get in touch, get the application emailed out to you, and fill it in and get it sent back within a certain date. And if you miss that deadline, you don't get your place. So you have to be on the ball, you know.
That's
so
right.
it's important to keep an eye out, because it is, as you said, a hugely popular program.
Well, we're having a 3-week window this time for applications to be returned, because we realise it's not as easy when you're not coming to the groups or seeing staff face to face. So if you're not on email, you can contact the page and we will arrange for a pickup, you know, at a particular time. So
Yes.
don't worry, you will still be able to apply. We actually did email applications last year and it went really smoothly. So
Yes. And again, if your child doesn't get a place in this, don't despair or worry, because I know that it does be a thing of anxiety for a lot of parents if they don't get their place. There are so many other standalone services offered, and so if they don't get on that place, it's not going to be a setback. It's just something that's there. If you get on it, you get on. Don't worry. There's other things that do the same thing, just at different times. So just to sort of reassure parents, what other standalone services can they avail of if they don't get on the programme?
yeah, well, as I mentioned, there's the creche and the stay and plays, and then we also offer loads of programs through your speech therapist team. So we have things like Tiny Talkers, Changing Time is Chatting Time, Toddler Sing and Play, Hannon, there's Book Start Corner, again, which is like a 4-week program at home. So it's all about early language, you know.
That's fantastic. I mean, so even if say the program, if you don't get in the program, you can contact yourselves and you can give other wee programs to get people to sign up to. So it's 1-1 really.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much for the toddler time, like toddler years, are so much.
Yeah, and to be honest, we've something running every day of the week, Monday to Friday.
Fantastic.
There's
There's
loads of
always something.
opportunities.
And Ruth, I know as well, the yoga runs sort of throughout,
Yeah.
and when they get to the stage, the yoga becomes even more crack.
It does. Yep.
We
good
obviously
fun.
have the toddler yoga for everybody. I know that you've done one just not that long ago for dads as well,
Yep.
which was really very successful. So if you'd like to give us a wee bit of info on the toddler yoga, because it does definitely change up a gear.
It does. And maybe I always think sometimes if we like instead of the terrible twos, we could call it the terrific twos, because look
that's
at all those
lovely.
terrific things that they can do.
Yeah.
And I know for parents it is a wild challenging time. I've been there and done it too, so you can relate. But it's trying to focus all that energy on the good things, and I suppose that's where toddler yoga does as a perfect class for that. As we have been lucky enough, we've done it through our developmental program for 2 to 3 year olds. We've engaged, you know, myself and Karen and Katrina, the other family support workers, have linked in. So and again the parents have engaged well. We have done it for the dads recently. It's good fun. It is energetic, so it's about putting all those challenging behaviours, like maybe when they're not paying attention or they're not listening, or you think they're being bold, or you think, you know, focus that onto something positive. And I suppose yoga does teach them. It does encourage attention and listening.
Yes.
Definitely does. Even though it might come across that they're not listening and they're not looking and they're not watching, but they actually are.
They really are.
It's also great for their early language development. But I think one of the main benefits of toddler yoga is helping them deal even with frustration and you know, introducing poses to them, simple, basic yoga poses. You know, that can. I would tend to focus a lot on animal poses.
Yes.
But that they can use these in a positive way, or if they're feeling angry, or
It's a wee way of getting their emotions
Releasing-
out, doesn't it? Like a lion,
Yep,
I
yep.
think you've used before, and saying like "rawr," I know, but that is them releasing like an expression. That's
Yep.
really important. You actually have a lovely story about a wee boy in particular who was maybe everybody was wondering, was he taking this in? You were doing lovely poses through yoga, and you can tell the
Yep.
rest of the story, because it's a great story about the success of a toddler yoga.
I think it does, and it sums it up. It's what I kind of try to say to parents, you know, when they come the first week and they look at maybe their child hasn't engaged very well, maybe they've just sat. So there was one particular wee boy, and he was called Dara, and his mum you just felt that, you know, he wasn't taking anything in, or he was just he was just sitting there happily and watching the world
good.
go around
That's
him,
really
which was good, sitting happily, you know. And Lindsay did continue to come. I know she'll not mind me saying this. And then a couple of weeks later, after the yoga had finished, she sent me this beautiful picture of him. They were sitting in McDonald's, and there he was doing the perfect prayer pose.
I know, that's
sitting in McDonald's. So it just kind of sums up that children mightn't always be ready to pay attention when we want them to do it, but just let them be. Let them do it on their own time, if you can. But it just showed he took everything in that I was doing and showing them, and it just summed it up, I thought, just beautifully. And
it does.
You know,
it's brilliant, like, and it does show they are like they're absorbing everything, they're taking it in. And I think one of the key things is don't give up. If you go to one session, I mean, if you go to one session and you don't think it's gone well, like don't say, right, well, I'm not doing that next week. Go again, because the following week could be great. You go the next week, it might not be good, but then the following week could be good. It's just about not giving up. No. At the end of the day, they're only 2.
They are, that's right. Remembering that the age that they're at, but also remembering that, you know, they just, again, they all develop at different rates, and they all, you know, do. So it is about persevering with things, and it's just about, you know, the idea that all our classes, everything in Sure Start is about that you're giving parents techniques, you're giving them, showing them all these lovely things to do with their child, but to do it at a time when it's more appropriate. Baby massage is a prime example. You might have a class where all the babies are, most of them, sleeping. There's nothing you can do about that, but it's about, you know, what you give that mum then to take home, and when her baby's alert. Likewise, toddler yoga. They do it at a time that suits them. So you're giving them the skills to take home with them, and like as Sharron talks about, extending home learning. That's what you're doing. You're providing them with these lovely
definitely skills. And I think too, within the pandemic, it's been lovely to have. I mean, I know that particularly the dad's toddler yoga was on Tuesday evenings, and it was a lovely kind of wee thing to look forward to, a wee focus point at the time as well. And I know that you know, we'll be talking about blended service a wee while, but hopefully that Zoom kind of class will continue. And it'll help for dads. Just before we go on to that, I know stay in play is still a big thing, Ruth. Even though we have it obviously in the baby months, it becomes even a really, really big thing as well in the toddler times, because they love starting to interact with each other at that age, really. Their wee social skills are really taking off, aren't they? And again, that mightn't be, sometimes the parents are cringing or quaking in their boots, could you say, because you don't know what they're going to come out with or what they're going to do. But again, stay in plays provide that opportunity to nurture that. That language development, and to nurture that wee growth, and to nurture those social skills. Definitely, social skills. And that's what's so good about stay in play. I suppose when we go to before COVID, I mean, all those places that Sharron talked about that we had the stay in plays, but over Zoom has been a pleasant surprise for me. And I have watched how each week myself, Bev and Karen do the 3 stay in plays. We all have the same feedback. The children are engaging so well over Zoom. They're now engaging with the other children as well. They'll say hello to everybody, and they know their wee friends. And I think as well, they when you've called at the door with packs, they've been like, "Oh my God, it's Ruth! She's real."
She's not just real from the TV or wherever.
Which is quite exciting. I mean, we take all these concepts for granted, but for a wee person, that's class.
That's exactly, you know.
So that's
good. Real.
Yes, that's lovely. That's exciting. Fantastic. And just on that then, the blended service has been so successful. We talked about it in the last podcast, but you're just to reiterate again to parents that hopefully this will continue. You as an organisation have learned so much through the pandemic too, and how it actually works well.
Absolutely. And I suppose one thing I can say, looking at statistics, you know, the year of lockdown, we have managed to have the same percentage uptake from our parents as we had.
That's fantastic.
Pre that, which is just amazing.
It is.
You know, and it's a credit to the parents, I have to say as well, that are connected with our project. You know, because without the parents and children, we wouldn't have a service.
But equally, you are doing so much to provide that. I mean, like we wouldn't be there as parents if it wasn't there for us. And you have really done that now. I mean, it's so good that it's continued. Could you imagine if it hadn't? You know.
I couldn't
imagine.
No.
And it would just be awful. So there's parenting programs as well, because toddler years, they are like, although with every stage there's a new shock. That's the only way I can put it. But obviously, the baby months are one thing, but it's easier nearly when they're sitting there and they're not moving about.
Well, that's it.
And they get up on their feet and they start expressing their wee personalities and their sort of their wee personalities and their wants and their needs verbally. And so there's obviously parenting programs like the Circle of Security. Sharon, isn't that right? And it's one that it's really good to kind of put out there too.
Yeah, well, I suppose we do work from a trauma-informed approach, and we do offer loads of different parenting programs, like the nurturing program from Family Links is a very popular one that we run. It's a 10-week program. Looking at positive discipline, empathy, all sorts of things. And then recently we've had a new pilot program, the Circle of Security parenting program, focusing on emotional connection, different parenting styles, being attuned to your child. And Ruth's been again involved in the pilot one of that, if she might want to say a wee bit more about it. And we've one coming up now again on the 21st of April.
Yes.
Yep. No, the first one has been a real success. It's quite I suppose, the nurturing program, it's very similar to the nurturing program, and again we have the Lifestart parenting program, which is like our monthly issues and stuff as well. But the COSP is that wee bit, I describe it as a wee bit deeper. It's COSP, and it stands for Circle of Security Parenting. It's another 8-week program, but it takes the 8 weeks to cover all your topics. But it is looking at, when Sharon mentions trauma-informed practice as well, it is looking at parents, and sometimes maybe when they are concerned or they see their child's behaviour as challenging, sometimes maybe it's where they're at. It can go back as far as their own parenting. And I know it's quite heavy stuff, but we do it in a lovely, secure way. And, people can talk if they want. They don't have to talk. But sometimes and it's looking at it on how we were parented, and it's not always negative. It could be that we want to do loads like how our mum and dad were.
Things that made you feel good.
Some things we don't want to do.
Yes.
And so I think it's just, in that respect, it's really all about your emotional well-being and your child and how we connect with them, and we meet different needs on the circle, the top of the circle, and it's about encouraging them to go out and explore, and they feel safe and feel loved, and then they come back in at the bottom of the circle when they need their cup filled, and that just could be
a lovely concept.
It really is. It was quite intense doing the training for it, but I have to say, our first time, myself and Joanna, another family support worker, we delivered it, and the two of us were very pleased at how it was, the uptake of it, but also how the parents responded to it.
I think as well, what you're saying there, like, people might not realise that they are given those things, and it's then that reinforcement of keep doing that, because your confidence sometimes gets knocked when you become a parent and you start doubting, am I doing that right? Am I doing that wrong? But that lovely idea of saying, fill that child's cup, fill that cup, that's a lovely way, and you know yourself as a person what makes you feel good, so give that out.
Right.
That's a brilliant thing. I think that program's, and as you say, the next one starts on the 21st of April. Are there still spaces available?
There is places available for it, so that will be advertised now again on our Facebook page now on Monday. So we do have places for that, so please
and even if people don't get on this one, will there be another one?
It will be rolled out again. Yep.
So yes,
it's going to be rolled out.
To keep busy.
Great. Yeah. So again, if someone's listening to this podcast after this date, don't be put off.
No.
Yeah.
Contact the page, get your name down, or get people to, because people email back or let you know things like that. It'll all fall into itself.
Yeah, and I suppose our Circle of Security program is for people living in the Sure Start wards and who have children under 4. But the good news is that the Bernardos, as part of the family centre, are running it as well. So that is available for children up to the age of 8, and they don't have to be in a Sure Start ward. So there's plenty of opportunities there for people.
Yes,
because we don't like turning people away, but we're bound by these wards at times. But
I understand that.
It's great that they can avail of it through the family centre.
Fantastic. That's great, because there's so many people maybe feel put off and I can't, but as you said, there's opportunity. So another one, obviously toddler age, is potty training time.
Yes, indeed.
Fun times.
Yes.
In the middle of it as we speak.
Oh, are you right? Well,
Good luck.
we'll have to get you signed up then for one of our workshops.
Probably need a lot of help. Yeah, so it's obviously a relatively new program, but when we were talking about this as well just before the podcast, I had said like how invaluable that is, because it is an anxious time for parents, especially first time round. It's always when you're first time round, and even if maybe you have a gap between your kids, you kind of forget. Like a lot of people say, if I've asked, what did you do? I forget.
And each child's different anyway, and then it's different with boys and it is with girls. So it's a whole load of stuff going on there. But we introduced a 2-week workshop recently, and we were absolutely blown away by the demand for it.
Amazing.
So we're just running our second one now at the minute. But as you say, it can be really challenging, and I think sometimes you get a lot of stress maybe from your friends or relatives. Oh, my child's already potty trained, or have you not started? But it's very individual, it's up to the parent, and the child needs to be ready.
Yes, you can't force it. You have to, and everybody, as we've said before, every child just thinks at their own pace, and don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't compare yourself. Don't compare your child. Do it your own way, and get the support.
And there's loads of tips and strategies on this wee workshop, and maybe you'll go to it and you'll think, do you know what, I'm not ready, the child's not ready, or okay, I'll try this approach, or just do something differently. So again, just sign up for these things. I certainly wish I had it when mine were that age, but
it's brilliant. It's great that support is there. Another obviously big thing, and again runs the whole way through, and I mean sleep. And again, I mean, I'm sitting here and I have a 2-year-old, nearly 3-year-old, and I still don't be getting good sleep. Now, I've met parents that have had a baby that slept the full night through from the start, and I know they're not lying. You'd be like, no, really? And they're like, no, really? I'd be like, but that's not happening for me. Again, it's different for everybody. But you have sleep workshops.
We do, and as you say, sometimes I think for new parents especially, it's
such a shock.
This $1 million question: is your child sleeping all night yet? And again, just think of us as adults. We all sleep differently. Well, children are the same, and they'll get there in their own pace or whatever. And it's trying to not stress too much about it. There's no magic wand. There's no magic age that says, right, at 18 months you'll be sleeping all night. As you say, your wee girl's still not, and that's just the way it is. Everybody's different. Everybody has different needs for different amounts of sleep.
And it changes all the time too, because like obviously now it's not as bad. She would sleep a lot better now, but it would be the nights that you're still woken up with the call in the middle of the night, But it's different. It's more manageable, but it is hard, I think, for a parent in particular that's having a really, really tough time with sleep. And it's great to know again that they can reach out, just even talk to somebody. That reassurance sometimes of it's okay, it's normal, and you can do this.
Yep.
You're not the only one.
No, and it could be something like, I mean, really, Sharon's right. We all do have different sleep patterns. But sometimes it could just be the simplest wee thing that they need to change. It is maybe focusing on their wee bedtime routine, and maybe it could be taking something out. It could be maybe TV before bedtime, something small like that. It could be maybe taking toys out of their room and making it think it's more their sleep environment. Their wee
definitely.
But let's face it, maybe just some children just maybe don't need a lot of sleep either. Well, they probably do need the sleep, but
they just wired a different way.
And so I think as a parent too, you just need that reassurance, and maybe you just do have to sometimes accept that. But we usually find with the sleep, and there's sort of 2 levels, but we have that sort of basic sleep support where maybe it's looking at your routine and stuff, but then there's a more intense where we have the staff trained in a more intense sleep workshop, so we have that
That's
opportunity.
Brilliant too.
And it would only be offered when a child is over 1, nobody expects anything perfect below that age. That's normal. And I suppose what we would encourage parents, especially in the early days during the day, if your child is sleeping, try and have a wee nap yourself to catch up.
Definitely, because it can be draining. It really can be. But moving on now, there's great, obviously, fundraising activities that go on with yourselves, and one of the ones that you've been hosting for the past, I think it's 19 years of it, is the Big Toddle, and it was it obviously with the pandemic it couldn't happen the way you wanted it, but you still kept going. So what is the usual way and what is the current way, so to speak?
Bernardo's Big Toddle, we started it in 2002, so each year it sort of got bigger and better, and we now incorporate it into like a combined Bernardo's Toddle and a Sure Start Fun Day. And we could have up to 150 children maybe appearing. So we would have it in usually down in Melbourne or somewhere where there's
Yes.
loads of open space, outdoor space, indoor space. So there's lots going on, magician, toddler yoga.
Oh, that's
arts
so
and crafts,
exciting.
Everything.
It's a fun wee morning now.
Yeah.
It is, and they love it. And I have to say, like, credit to the people of Strabane again who support us year after year. We've raised over 20,000.
That's amazing.
And it just keeps going. So we didn't know what to do last year when we couldn't have a toddle. So I thought, right, let's
Get the thinking caps on.
Yes,
Sharon
which
being
you,
Sharon wasn't going to bypass anyway. We weren't going to forget about it.
you'll not
I
be,
am
not
known
be
for-
beat.
I do like the fundraising, I have to say. Somebody said you could sell snow to Eskimos. But haven't had a chance to try that one yet, but you
I
never
think
know.
you'd succeed, Sharon, I do.
Anyway, we decided we'll have a virtual toddle. I mean, there's loads of virtual things going on. There was virtual marathons, virtual 5Ks, so
Yeah.
we'll have a virtual toddle.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure how it would go, to be honest. So we put it out there, asked parents to get involved, have the toddle in their back garden, out in the park, whatever. Obviously, we were socially distancing, was within your own bubble. And actually,
It
as
worked.
always, the parents were great. They sent us on their pictures, and we raised almost £800, which I
Amazing.
thought was just amazing for an online thing. And they were getting very little back from us, you know, whereas normally they were getting all this big fun day and a pack and everything.
That's right.
They did get a wee certificate and medal and all sent out
That's
to them.
lovely.
But we're going to do it again this year.
Yes, that I was just about to ask. So when
Well,
roughly
we
will
were
it be?
hoping that it
Yeah.
would be back on,
Oh,
but
I know
I think
it's-
just with the restrictions yet, it's not going to be lifted, you know, for that big of a crowd. So June is typically the toddle month, so we'll run it through the whole month of June, so people have an opportunity to get involved. So this year the theme is safari,
Lovely.
and we have wee packs already made up and ready to
Yes.
go out free, and we're going to be offering a little T-shirt as well for the children.
Lovely.
So again, we'd just encourage people to join in and send us in your photos, get your friends and family to sponsor you. It'll be the Just Giving page will be set up again.
Brilliant.
And we'll really hope to beat our £800 target.
Oh, I think
This
so.
year,
I do.
Yeah.
I think you will. And obviously, you basically get people to register, isn't that right, for the big toddle?
Yeah.
Register, and you will then obviously be sent. And again, these packs, amazing. You know, I've obviously been very lucky to avail of the packs at Christmas time and Halloween as well, which were great activities, and it gives people focal points, and that'll be brilliant for the toddle too. And just from one toddle to another, you and
I don't know if you call it a toddle.
I know. But Sharon, Ruth, you toddled off to
might
the,
felt like a toddle.
the Great Wall of China, and this was a part of your fundraising as well that you did. I was amazed when you both told me this, or we were talking prior to
Yeah.
all this, that you had gone and done this trip. What an adventure! Amazing.
Yes, back in
was.
2014.
Yeah. Well, 2013.
Okay.
Oh,
When the decision was made.
how was that? How did that come about?
Oh, well, we were on our Christmas night out and
Good
full
time
of
to
festive cheer.
rope
Just
you in.
let's say, just full of festive cheer. Sharon asked me would I fancy raising money for Bernardo's and walking the Great Wall of China, and
As you do.
full of festive cheer,
Oh,
I
that's
said
lovely.
yes.
Oh, brilliant.
So thinking come the new year back at work, never hear tell of it again.
No,
hoping
she
I'd never
wasn't
hear
gonna
tell of
leave
it
it.
again. No, and 9 months later we were in China and we raised.
£6,000.
But you must be really proud of that. That's a big, I mean, to actually do that yourself, I mean, that's a big undertaking to go the whole way to China. And did it live up to all expectations?
Yes, it did, and more. And to be honest, like, neither of us were that fit at the time, and we had to go into training and start loads of walking, and we actually made it to the gym for a while. We were up a few mountains and things, but I have to say, no, it was an amazing
Experience.
experience,
It was.
and
That's lovely.
again, testament to the people of Strabane for supporting us,
Oh.
and the staff team, our own families, everybody got behind us.
Yep.
With loads of different activities, from tractor runs.
Oh,
I'll never
amazing.
forget that day. I think 54 was it or something?
50
Tractors. They just kept coming and coming to the canal basin. We were like, okay.
We had to go and get more burgers.
Yeah.
Because we had offered a burger. Now, for no other tractor run offers burgers, but Sharon thought it would be a wonderful idea to offer burgers
They
when they
came
come
for
back.
the burgers.
And right enough, and when we were set sail, we had to go to Asda, we had to go
And get more.
And get
so-
more.
Oh, amazing.
But we also did Strictly Come Dancing. No, sorry, Ruth did Strictly
Oh,
Come Dancing.
very
I was the
good.
supporter.
Oh, very
and
good.
I kid you not, she even did a cartwheel on the night.
No way, Ruth.
Yep.
Wouldn't do
That's
it now.
So no, I mean,
It's all the yoga.
exactly. Flexibility.
Cheap.
So we had loads of fun, like, beforehand,
We did.
raising the money. Like, I mean, some people think it's a chore, but it's not. You know, with coffee mornings, with cake sales, we had all sorts
Yes.
of different raffles, and it was just it was good
And
fun.
hopefully, you know, with it's lovely in a way reminiscing about all these things, you know,
it is.
pre-pandemic, and that's the hope. This will come back. Those things will come back, and like hopefully you two will come up with something else
Well,
to go on. Have you come up with any ideas?
I'm hoping a Christmas night out comes back to get her into the next one.
Well, we'll look forward
catches
to
me.
hearing that on the Sure Start page. What Ruth was roped into to do next. So by Sharron.
You wouldn't know where we'd end up. I did threaten to do a cycle around India, so you never know.
That's the next one. For anybody listening, Ruth is shaking her head. But no, it's fantastic. We do have a great, obviously, I mean, Strabane and surrounding areas are brilliant. Great community, and we're very lucky.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And a wee member, obviously we're going to talk about a member of the community now, basically a little girl called Farah, who's been the face of Bernardo's TV campaign, isn't that right? A wee
That's
success
right.
story about this. So just you tell us all about Farah.
Yeah, well, Farah was one of the children who attended one of our developmental programs for 2 to 3 year olds.
Yes.
And Farah was born with a certain condition, so she only had one leg.
Yeah.
So she came to us and they were a bit anxious, you know, how we would manage, but we adapted the room. She didn't need to adapt, she was just amazing. She
Oh,
just got on with it. She's
Yeah.
a brilliant wee girl. So at the time I nominated her for an award for her motivation and her just her
Yes.
can-do approach, and she won it, the Marsh Trust Award.
Oh, fantastic.
So things have kind of taken off for Farah since then, as you say. She's become the face of a TV campaign. So if you
Amazing.
tune in before Emmerdale, you'll see her. And then her daddy, Patrick, decided that he would do the virtual London Marathon as a thank you to Bernardo's for everything that Bernardo's and Strabane Sure Start had provided for her. So he did that last year and raised over £2,000 as well, which was amazing. And at the minute, her drama school that she attends, Much Ado Stage School, have just an Easter past there done a drive-by with an Alice in Wonderland theme. I don't know, you may have seen it. And they've also produced a wee video with a song, which is lovely.
That's
So
brilliant.
at the minute, they've raised over £600, and you can still donate on our Just Giving page for that.
That's lovely.
So it's lovely to see. I mean, Farah's just an inspiration
Yeah.
to everybody, and the other children, especially anybody that might have a similar condition. You know,
Yes.
just shows how much you can achieve. Nothing held her back, and it won't. And I can assure you, there'll be more to come as well.
Oh, that is just brilliant. No, and all the, I mean, all that fundraising too, like you all appreciate it so much, and like and it's so needed, you know, for our services and the
Yeah.
community to continue to run. So everybody doing that too is so, you know, it's very special. I know that you find like you're doing it as well. You know, we're all like a big team. Everybody kind of coming on board for each other, which is so important. And as you say, wee girls like Farah are just inspirational to us all.
And I think, you know, at the minute, the economic crisis or whatever you want to say we're in,
Yeah.
you know, it's so important that we do support these charities, and
Yeah.
every penny counts.
It
You know,
does.
it doesn't matter. But again, as I'll say, every year, people in Strabane just don't let you down. It's
No,
amazing.
that's
it really
brilliant.
is. I
They
can't
are.
say it
Yeah.
enough,
No.
because they
They
have
are.
been brilliant all
That
along.
is so good. And just like that obviously leads on to, you know, with this pandemic and everything that's been going on, you know, I know Sharron, as the manager, you in particular want to sort of lead a tribute to your staff, because you really, you know, to me as well, you've spoken to me about it and how highly you think of the whole team, you know, and obviously I know you want to just lead a wee
Yeah.
tribute to them now.
Absolutely. I mean, through these 3 podcasts, I suppose we've been talking about all the services and the amazing support we get from our families, but obviously I just couldn't go without mentioning the amazing team that we do have at Strabane Sure Start. They really are second to none, and I'm just so proud of them. And I mean, they've always gone the full mile, but over lockdown, you know, there was no difference, and that it wasn't easy. So, you know, they just adapted so quickly. I mean, within a few weeks we were up and running online.
Yeah.
And like as I said earlier, none of us were overly technical either, but we had to learn. But, you know, everybody's pretty au fait with it now.
Yeah.
So just as it was daunting for them, as I say to parents, please just come along, lift up the phone. If you need help, we'll get there. Staff have been doing that. They've been doing garden gate visits. They've been delivering the packs, as we talked about. They've been on the other end of the phone, you know, just they're always there. And we supported a good lot of families as well through the Bernardo's Emergency Fund, because things are difficult. Some people are on furlough, people have lost jobs, you know, it's difficult. And even just people not being able to get out, feeling a bit isolated, you
Yeah.
know, we're at the end of the phone.
Definitely.
And as I said earlier, the staff build up great relationships with the parents.
Really
so
do, yes.
They feel comfortable lifting the phone, and we encourage you to do that and get in touch. Don't.
It's just lovely, even when, like, I mean, Ruth calling at the door the last day with a pack for me,
Yeah.
and we had a wee chat, and like there's actually been a couple of times you've called with the packs, and I've, you know, we've caught each other,
That's right.
and it's
Yeah.
so lovely, and then to see, you know, that face at the other end of the screen,
That's it.
the
I
new
know.
it.
terms.
Exactly.
But no, I have to say as well, on behalf of all the parents, just massive thank you. Ruth, thank you so much for all the things you've done that I've got
Thank
to
you, Bridgeen.
be involved in, and Sharon, thanks for all the stuff as well that you've organised and overseen, and it's just been brilliant. And this is obviously it's been a difficult time, but it's also like a new start too, with all the things that you've sort of
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
I
Exactly.
agree. I think our skills have been, you
You've
know,
upskilled
things
in a
that,
way.
like, we
Yeah.
have, and maybe in a way at the beginning we thought that scared us. But
Yeah.
you know, if you think a year on, you know, the skills that we have are probably around IT, but
Yeah.
it's and you know, I suppose working from home has its own challenges, and we have maybe that social side we are missing out, but things are put in place, you know, for us. But also I think, you know, there has been things like, you know, we can take our breaks, or we can go for a wee walk. Our self-care has been priority for Sure Start as well, and the management, like, they have stressed that for their workers, so
That's
it
lovely.
works both ways, you know.
Yeah, definitely. No,
Well,
I
it
know.
is true, like, because as I say, the team have been brilliant, and
Yeah.
you have to remember they're normal people too. They
Yeah.
have their home lives. They might be homeschooling. They might
Yes.
have somebody who's sick.
Yeah.
They may be self-isolating.
Yeah, we're
you know,
all worried about the same things
Absolutely,
at the minute.
but they've got on with their work
They
and
have,
kept
yeah.
things ticking over. Like I said, we've had the same percentage uptake, and parents, I mean, the feedback has just been amazing. So, I mean, a huge thanks to the team. They're brilliant. We're
That's
blessed, I
lovely.
have to say.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, ladies, that has brought us to the end of this, our final episode, our little series that we've brought together. I really hope that this is obviously really helpful to parents, new parents that are maybe doing it again for the second, third, fourth time. And obviously, we've obviously said before, but you can get in touch through the Facebook page, through Messenger, via email, picking up the phone.
Yeah.
All the contacts are there. The Facebook page, the Sure Start Family Centre, is a really, really great way of getting in touch. And just before we finish off, I know that, Sharon, you want to just tell everybody about the conference on coercive control that is coming up.
Yes, that's right.
And just explain a wee bit to everybody about what that is and how to get involved before it's going to be on Zoom this year.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, well, I suppose as a children's service and being connected with Bernardo's, we're all very much about a safeguarding organisation. So we do have a conference coming up online now on coercive control. We had it scheduled in the diary for last May at the Alley Theatre, but obviously that couldn't happen. So we've been sitting waiting, you know, for a new venue, a new time, but we've thought, well, as time goes on, we're not going back into them venues just as quick as we thought, so we decided we'll put it into 2 online workshops. So the first one will be on the 3rd of June, and it's more of an awareness raising session on coercive control, and then the second one will look at sort of the impact, how we can refer people and plan safely for them. There's been almost twice as many coercive control incidents reported to the police in 2019 than there was in 2018. So it is something that's out there and something we do need to raise awareness of. So I would just encourage anybody who wants to come along. It'll be over Zoom. They will be informative. We've got a lot of guest speakers. We're going to have somebody giving a real lived experience. So all the details again on the page. And anybody wants to get in touch with anything around that or any issue they're having, it's all confidential, so please do get in touch.
Definitely reach out, speak to the team. As you can all hear, you've got 2 lovely people here to talk to. Ladies, thank you so much for being part of this and for doing this this podcast. I really hope that it really helps somebody out there too, and well done. You've been amazing.
Well, thank you. It's a new thing for us as well, doing a podcast, so thanks to yourself, Bridgeen, and to Glasgowbury for inviting us along, and for our 2 technical
to
experts
Nathan
here.
and Keelan as well,
Yeah.
who've been
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you.
Absolutely, so thank you guys.
It's been great. I've had such a good time talking to you and learning so much about your brilliant services. Thank you for everything, and take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if there's something on your mind, and you can't figure out why. Learn to love and open up to what's inside. You'll be surprised what you might find.